You finished the project and everyone loved it. Your boss praised you, and your friends even told you, congratulations. Your phone filled with messages all saying you crushed it. And yet, later that night, while lying in bed, your brain ignores all of it. Instead, it replays one tiny mistake, one awkward sentence, one typo, or just one moment you wish you handled differently. And suddenly, an entire success starts feeling like failure. That's the strange thing about perfectionism. To everyone else, you look high functioning, disciplined, and ambitious. You look successful. But privately, you feel constantly behind your own standards. No matter how much you achieve, it never fully lands because the finish line just keeps moving. And the worst part is this: people praise you for it. They call you driven, dedicated, or a perfectionist. They say it like it's a compliment. But what if perfectionism isn't excellence at all? What if it's actually fear, wearing the costume of ambition? You see, researcher and author Brené Brown once said, perfectionism is not the belief that if we live perfect, look perfect, and act perfect, we can avoid shame. And suddenly everything starts making sense. Because maybe you were never really chasing greatness. Maybe you were just trying to avoid feeling unworthy. Perfectionists rarely ask, is this meaningful? Instead, they ask, will this finally make me enough? And those are two very different lives. Modern America quietly rewards perfectionism. Not directly, but culturally. You see, we celebrate overwork, we romanticize burnout, and we even call exhaustion discipline. And somewhere along the way, rest started feeling guilty. You see it everywhere. The student rewriting one paragraph for 3 hours, the employee terrified to send an email unless it sounds flawless, or the mother trying to become a perfect parent while secretly collapsing inside. Think about the creator deleting good work, simply because it didn't feel exceptional enough. And maybe the most dangerous part is this: perfectionism often looks responsible, reliable, and successful, so nobody notices the damage early. Not even you. Because externally, your life may still function, but internally, your nervous system is living in constant evaluation mode. Every conversation becomes performance, every mistake becomes evidence, and every delay feels personal. Psychologists call this contingent self-worth. And it's when your value as a human being becomes dependent on achievement. It's not about who you are, but about how well you perform. And once that happens, you stop experiencing life naturally. You start managing it, optimizing it, and editing it, essentially trying to become impossible to criticize. Perfectionism is exhausting because you are trying to control something no human being can control: how every person sees you. And no amount of achievement ever solves that problem permanently. For perfectionists, mistakes don't feel small. In fact, they feel dangerous. That's why one awkward interaction can ruin your entire day, why one criticism can erase 10 compliments, and why a tiny flaw becomes emotionally louder than everything you did right. You see, because deep down, perfectionism is not about standards. It's actually about safety. Your brain learns this equation early. If I perform perfectly, maybe I can avoid rejection, avoid embarrassment, avoid disappointment, or avoid being judged. And over time, your nervous system stops seeing mistakes as normal human experiences. It starts treating them quite literally like threats. Neuroscience studies show that when highly self-critical people make mistakes, the brain's threat detection systems become significantly more active. In other words, your brain reacts to imperfection almost like danger. And suddenly you understand why you overthink everything, why you rehearse conversations in the shower, why you replay moments from 5 years ago at 1 in the morning, and why relaxing feels even harder than working. It's because your mind believes that vigilance equals protection. Perfectionists are not obsessed with being the best. They are simply terrified of being seen at their most human. Here's the paradox nobody warns you about. Perfectionism often creates procrastination. You see, it's not laziness and it's not a lack of discipline. It's just fear. You want to start the business, write the book, post the video, or finally apply for that job. But your brain keeps whispering, what if it's not good enough? So instead, you prepare endlessly. You research endlessly, you edit endlessly, and you wait endlessly. Because as long as the dream stays unfinished, it stays protected from failure. And this is where perfectionism becomes tragic. People think perfectionists are obsessed with finishing perfectly, but the truth is, many perfectionists never fully begin. It's because imperfect action feels emotionally unbearable. So they stay stuck inside potential. And potential is comforting because reality can disappoint you. You see, a lot of people are not afraid of failure. They are afraid that failure will confirm what they secretly fear about themselves. So, how do you escape this? It's not by lowering your ambition, but by changing your relationship with imperfection. You see, psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott once introduced the idea of the good enough parent. Not perfect, not flawless, but just emotionally present enough to create healthy growth. And maybe that idea applies to life itself. Maybe you do not need to become perfect just to deserve peace. Maybe good enough is where real living actually begins. Because perfectionism steals something quietly. It steals your presence. You become so focused on improving life that you stop experiencing it. So healing, it starts small, very small. You send the email before rereading it 10 times, you post the imperfect video, and you allow yourself to be seen before feeling fully ready. You stop treating every mistake like a moral failure. And slowly, your nervous system learns something new. Imperfection did not destroy you. The goal of life was never to become flawless. It was to become real enough that you no longer need to hide from yourself. One day, many perfectionists reach a heartbreaking realization. They spent their entire lives trying to become impressive enough just to finally feel safe. But the truth is, no achievement ever fully fixed it. Not the degree, not the salary, not the praise, and certainly not the perfect image. Because you see, perfection was never the real need. Love was. Acceptance was. Safety was. And maybe the saddest part of perfectionism is how much life it steals while pretending to improve it. Think about the conversations you never started, the art you never shared, and the risks you never took. All those memories you couldn't enjoy because you were too busy trying to perform them correctly? So maybe healing begins here. It's the moment you stop asking, how do I become impossible to criticize? And you finally start asking, how do I become free enough to live honestly? Because the people who truly feel alive are usually not the people doing everything perfectly. They are simply the people, no longer terrified of being imperfect. Perfectionism promises protection, but eventually it becomes the prison that keeps you from fully living your own life. If this video resonated with you, please comment. Enough. Not because you've perfected your life, but because maybe, for the first time, you're starting to believe you were already worthy before you became perfect.